a question for you about the role of civil society. It's always very kind of alarming when I hear somebody like FIFA saying that, the microphones of civil society representatives have been muted and, they're getting version 7 of documents, from entities that are led by or run out of, the World Health Organization, like COVAX or others. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think the role of civil society is, and in this, this discussion that we're having today, and what can you do or other leaders in the World Health Organization to make sure that the voices of civil society are not muted, either, in reality or sort of, in an abstract sense?
Yeah, I mean, what I would say there is any organization is so fortunate, would be so fortunate to have someone like FIFA engaged, speaking truthfully, speaking honestly, and the same would apply for Fatima, the same would apply for Cameron, the same would apply for you, Maza. I mean, that is a gift. And then the question is what you do with that gift. And I think, and I'm speaking generally, the best institutions, the best institutions, the best organizations embrace that gift. So let me just say that, and let me also say that we will do everything we can to amplify those voices, and that's why I feel so privileged to be here today. Tedros has said historically WHO was shy by design on partnerships, and has really worked hard through his transformation to change that, and no more important time than now to do that. I should say that you can't deliver vaccines you don't have down your channel. I think that would be fair. People would probably agree with that, but that just puts the focus back on supply. And so civil society is so incredibly important. And listen to the messages we just heard from these brilliant panelists. These are the messages that are going to save the world. And when I talked about principled leadership, I was talking about Tedros, but I was also talking about Fatima and FIFA and Cameron. So an incredibly important role. And by the way, that's not a bad pivot to the companies. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have Fatima or FIFA or yourself or Cameron on the boards of one of these companies. And you could think about that. I mean, if I would just to pivot now, Maza, if that's okay. So, I think we have to think deeply about these companies. I think we have to think about it in terms of corporate governance and those boards and those AGMs and what those resolutions of those AGMs are like. And we need to think about the climate examples where social goals are linked, for example, to resolutions on executive compensation. I think we need to channel this anger and this sadness into action, including in, I'm just throwing these ideas out here. Just imagine yourself on the board of one of these companies. What would you say? What is the responsibility of a board of directors with respect to global vaccine equity? It's not nothing. You have the UN Human Business Principles, you've got the human rights principles, but how is that brought to the surface? How is that enforced? Could be through, the directorships of these companies. So we have to find a practical way to channel that.